Wealthiest man that I've been with. And that's like no faking. I haven't paid for a flight, a hotel, a fucking purse, nothing. And I don't know how long. Food. He take care of everything.
This whole situation was allegedly a long game orchestrated by Papoose and Remy from the very start, with one clear objective in mind: pulling Claressa Shields back into the picture. And up to this point, that plan appears to have worked exactly as intended. It also sheds light on why their marriage is somehow still intact despite all the noise. Claressa has consistently gone out of her way to publicly support Papoose, often emphasizing that he was the very first man who ever treated her with genuine respect and care. But what Claressa seemingly didn't realize at the time was that his constant presence in her life wasn't just about loyalty or love. It was tied to financial benefit, plain and simple. Whether it slipped out because of bitterness, sarcasm, or calculated shade, Remy Ma already hinted that Claressa was nothing more than Papoose's latest financial upgrade. And she can afford to say it openly, because at the end of the day, she knows most people won't take her words seriously enough to question it anyway.
And you over there playing with that girl. You over there playing with her. If I thought she would believe it and would listen or even care, because anytime somebody's gonna say like, yeah, they told me what the situation was and I accepted it.
And now, Remy Ma's comments are starting to sound less like shade and more like a warning, because fresh information is surfacing that suggests Papoose has been siphoning money from Claressa to wipe out his own financial mess. According to what's coming out, this wasn't a one-time situation either. It looks like a pattern. The claims imply that he's been using her resources to settle his obligations and may continue leaning on her financially for as long as she's willing or able to keep giving.
Oh, I'm never gonna stop talking about my man. I just brought him his food in the back because he was upstairs. Ain't that y'all joke? Oh, he's upstairs. Just brought him his food. And y'all talking shit, but guess what? Ain't nobody gonna ever make me stop talking about my man. That's what y'all think y'all gonna do. You're not gonna do it. Whenever I feel like saying Papoose's name, I'm gonna say his name.
Clark it. Okay, so ever since Remy Ma and Papoose...
All right, so ever since Remy Ma and Papoose went from being celebrated as black love to being viewed as straight-up black poison, Claressa Shields ended up exposed as the woman Pap has been closely linked to. From that moment on, her name has been tied almost exclusively to controversy and chaos. These days, if you see Claressa making headlines, 9 times out of 10 it has nothing to do with boxing. It's because she's saying something about Pap, where she's firing off online about their relationship and whatever fresh drama is unfolding. With all of this noise constantly surrounding her, it's incredibly easy for people to overlook who she actually is outside of the mess. And that's wild, because Claressa Shields is genuinely one of the greatest female boxers to ever step into the ring. She's a world champion, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and her resume speaks for itself. Yeah, she may move a little reckless when it comes to Pap, but let's be clear, Claressa is the only boxer in history, man or woman, to become the undisputed champion in 4 different weight classes while holding belts across 5 divisions. That's not just impressive, that's historic. She even had a major movie made about her life called Fire Inside, with Destiny Ryan playing her role. But none of that seems to stick in the public's mind, because she's constantly wrapped up in drama tied to the man she's dealing with. And whether Claressa fully recognizes it or not, Papoose absolutely understands the position she's in, and he didn't hesitate to step in and capitalize on it. Claressa has had Papoose performing at large arenas and packed venues that he never truly reached on his own, not even during his years alongside Remy Ma. Honestly, we haven't seen this much visibility or motion from Papoose in well over a decade. And while his lyrical ability has always been respected in hip-hop circles, the truth is his commercial pull and public relevance are extremely limited without Claressa Shields attached to his name. On top of that, Claressa has reportedly positioned him not just as her partner, but as her manager and even her boxing promoter, pushing the narrative that together they create opportunities and generate money as a team. One of the biggest examples Claressa points to when crediting Papoose is an $8 million multi-fight partnership with Salida Promotions and Win Records, which, by the way, is actually a record label, not a boxing company.
His transition to the executive suite as a creative director of the record company helped broker the deal that secures Shields' spot as one of the highest paid female boxers in the business.
As a fan, watching Claressa from the outside, I never seen someone who was more deserving.
She officially signed that agreement back in November and even held a full-blown press conference, proudly promoting it as something groundbreaking and never done before. But here's what really needs to be unpacked, because the deal isn't quite what it was presented to be. Win Records isn't a standard boxing promoter at all. It's primarily a music management label, with Papoose positioned as their flagship artist and the person running their hip-hop division. That's why Claressa Shields stands out. She's actually the first athlete this label has ever put under contract. What a management company like this typically does is take control of a client's public-facing career. That includes managing appearances, shaping branding, negotiating endorsement deals, and even guiding crossover ventures. So if Claressa ever decides she wants to step into music and try her hand at rapping, this label would be the one facilitating that transition. In exchange for all of this, management teams usually take somewhere between 10 to 20% right off the top, and that's before we even talk about the next layer involved. Then there's Salida Promotions, which is a legitimate boxing promotion company, and they are also entitled to a slice of Claressa's earnings. Their role is different, but just as costly. They're responsible for lining up her fights, organizing the events, managing logistics, selling the bouts, and negotiating broadcast licenses with major media platforms like Netflix and ESPN. They're not there to manage Claressa's personal life or image, but when it comes strictly to her boxing career, Salida Promotions is the entity that pitches her, markets her, and builds hype around her fights. And of course, to do all of that, they take their own percentage out of whatever money Claressa brings in. So when you really break it down, you've got multiple layers of people and companies all circling the same pot, each one claiming their share. By the time management takes their cut and the boxing promotion takes theirs, the reality is pretty bleak. Claressa ends up doing all the physical work, putting her body, her health, her jaw, and her career on the line, while walking away with far less than what the headline numbers make it seem like.
You know, I'm gonna say it. It wouldn't have been possible without Papoose. Papoose and Win, yes. Papoose and Win Records have been working together for about 3-4 years now. And since I've met Ruben, he has been just so nice and so open. And the last fight, when we had so much success at LCA, where we sold out 16,000 fans, that was because myself, Papoose, Win Records, and Split Promotions all worked together collectively to make that work. So I'm so grateful to them, and so grateful that I have a team who understands that, who understands my value, and who want to see me win. And we're going to continue to work together and make this big. So congrats.
What Claressa ended up signing looks a whole lot like one of those infamous 360 deals that artists in the music industry used to warn everyone about. The kind where you do all the heavy lifting, but when it's time to collect, you're left confused about where the money actually went. So the real question becomes, why would the most dominant female boxer of this generation agree to a deal that sounds more fitting for a struggling rapper than a world-class athlete? According to the talk going around, the answer is simple. Papoose played a direct role in making it happen. Claressa herself basically confirmed that during the press conference, openly stating that the deal wouldn't have come together without Papoose's involvement behind the scenes. Right now, Claressa is the only major talent signed to Win Records, which means the entire label is essentially being kept alive by her success. And let's be very clear, Papoose isn't just standing on the sidelines. He's set to receive a commission for bringing Claressa into the deal, on top of being involved in nearly every other aspect of her career moves. Anytime Claressa books a gig, lands an opportunity, or secures a check, Papoose reportedly gets a piece of that as well. And according to what's being whispered in the streets, that money flowing in from Claressa is exactly what Papoose has been using to finance his lifestyle and slowly chip away at his financial problems. Here's where things get even more concerning. Papoose allegedly hasn't paid taxes in 12 years and is said to owe the IRS over $300,000. On top of that, Remy Ma reportedly owes the IRS more than $600,000, which puts their combined tax debt at over $1 million. Remy Ma has taken shots at Claressa in the past, referring to her as Papoose's come-up, acting as if she's detached from the situation entirely. But what makes all of this feel extra questionable is the fact that Remy and Papoose are still legally married. Yes, Papoose did officially file for divorce, but that divorce has never been finalized. And according to reports, Remy Ma has since pulled the divorce off the table altogether. Meanwhile, the two of them continue to go back and forth publicly, airing out tension and throwing jabs, almost as if it's all part of maintaining appearances. From the outside looking in, it starts to feel less like real separation and more like a performance designed to distract from what's really going on behind the scenes.
We saw that he currently owes and has not paid taxes for the past, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12, but 13 years. This man, what does that say, Jasmine? 3, what does it say?
I want to say it says...
That's the 180,000 top name of who? Taxpayer? Willie Mack, but he ain't paying no taxes, so he shouldn't be called a taxpayer. He should be called a tax ower. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah. And so these are just Papooses. Now, the reason I think that this is a Tinder swindler, the reason I think that there's some tricking going on here is because when Papoose and Remy were together doing an endorsement in a fur coat show store the other day, she seemed very happy to be there. When I found her tax record, what is it? Yeah, let me see. How much is those tax liens? Remy currently has $622,474.76. Guess who's gonna pay it? Guess who's gonna pay it? The one, according to her own cousin, okay, that got a disability check when she was a kid for being just a tad bit off.
At this point, people are starting to put the puzzle pieces together, and the consensus online is that there's just no way Remy Ma and Papoose aren't still operating as a unit behind the scenes. However you look at it, the setup works in their favor. No matter how the situation with Claressa Shields plays out, they both come out on top. Even if Papoose were to walk away from Claressa tomorrow, he would still be entitled to a portion of her earnings. And if Claressa ever decides she wants to cross over into music and try her hand as a rapper, that's another revenue stream Papoose gets to tap into. So from every direction, money is flowing his way. Multiple lanes, multiple cuts, no real downside for him. And that income becomes more than just lifestyle money. It turns into a lifeline. Those funds can be used to dig him out of his financial hole and even help cover Remy's debts as well, because legally they're still tied together. As long as they remain married on paper, he can still be held responsible for her financial obligations, which makes this entire situation feel a lot less random and a lot more calculated to anyone watching closely.
Claressa has been taken advantage of her whole life. Okay. And I want to say this because she's been boxing since forever. I don't know her childhood, but I do know that her best friend who grew up with her came out and made some rather disturbing videos about Claressa being taken advantage of, you know, when she was younger as a young boxer by her coaches and getting pregnant and things like this. And so when I see people like Papoose enter the Cash App requesting money from people like Claressa, after Remy has already warned us that, you know, he preyed on her when she was in jail. He wasn't making no money. It was Remy's money. And she said she put everything in his name only to come out and then have to work. And then he's getting the benefit of the solid black man, of the black man that's holding everything down. And so when I look at this same thing possibly being done to Claressa, and she's slow by default, and I'm talking about slow as in, you know, she probably got some early stage, you know, some issues going on, being knocked around, you know, it does have an effect on your brain and on your cognitive thinking and stuff. And you're not able to see straight. And if she was already taken advantage of by her coaches, surely it's easier for a bum like this to come in and take advantage of her too. I personally think they're still sleeping together. That's just my thing. I'm just going to hold that right there.
Right now, the internet is collectively crossing its fingers and hoping Claressa finally opens her eyes and understands that both Remy Ma and Papoose profit from her attachment to them. People are saying if she doesn't come to that realization soon, the wake-up call is going to be brutal, because one day she'll look around and realize there's nothing left for her. A full 1,000%. I've done the research, I've looked at the receipts, and the conclusion is clear. She's getting played at lightning speed, faster than a New York minute. From the outside looking in, Papoose is clearly preying on Claressa Shields, and that's the part that really makes this whole situation hard to watch. It's uncomfortable because the signs are there every single time she speaks. There are obvious cognitive gaps, whether people want to admit it or not. Claressa comes across as deeply insecure and emotionally fixated on a man who, truthfully, doesn't seem to return that affection in the same way. And that imbalance is dangerous. Despite all of this, I genuinely want better for Claressa. I want her to discover real self-love and eventually experience a healthy, genuine romantic connection. She's endured a lot in her life, and this situation didn't start with Papoose. He's just the latest chapter. My hope is that he doesn't completely shatter her heart in the process, because she doesn't deserve that kind of ending. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about everything that's come out? Drop your thoughts in the comments, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.